answer a couple of questions. Who, what, when, where, and why. I'm like the new person in this race. I know that when I started to come on the scene about 6 weeks ago, when I joined this race, many people were like, who are you? Well, I tell you who I am. I am a dude who was born 2 teenagers in Fort Pierce, Florida. Those were 2 teenagers that had to drop out of high school to have me. They chose life. I'm thankful that they did. My mom wasn't a believer or Christian or anything like that. I was raised by my grandma. She met a guy, this is in Florida, she met a guy that moved to Illinois with her, and she moved to Illinois with him when they were on spring break. My mom left me. I didn't see her for a couple of years, but she came back to get me, moved me back to Illinois, and she had a stable home there with my stepdad, and she told me, you're gonna go to church, and you're gonna go to the YMCA. And you don't argue with a big black mom. Anybody got one of those? You don't argue with a big black mom. So I'm a product of the local church and the YMCA. I was able to go to college on a football scholarship. I went to school at Evangel University, and by looking at me, I see that you can tell I was a wide receiver. So I'm getting to be a good politician because I tell that joke with a pretty good little lie right there. No, I'm teasing like that. No, but I was an offensive lineman. And I played football in college, and I'm so thankful for my opportunity there. I encountered a lot of good people that instilled a lot of good values in my heart. People like President Spence, who taught me how to be a hard worker, who taught me what it was like to be a man. I didn't have a lot of those role models growing up. People that instilled good values inside of me and good disciplines. And after I left Evangel, I left there with a couple of degrees. I went back and got a master's degree. I'm working on a doctoral degree. When I left Evangel, I went to the business world for a while. I worked here in Springfield at a local company where I managed about 300 people in sales. And from that, I finally answered a call that was on my life when I was 12 years old to be a minister. And so my wife, who is with me today, babe, stand up so that people can see how pretty you are. That's my wife. We've been married for 26 years, and she chased me. I got tired of running. I said, fine, I'll marry you. And so we've been married for about 26 years. We have 5 kids. And we're doing our best to raise them in this country. As you can tell to see, I'm the epitome of the American dream. Where else can a young dude that was born of 2 teenagers that had to drop out of high school to have them? My real dad's been in prison about half of my life. I don't even know how many years and how many times, but I'm living the American dream. During a couple of years ago, we started our own ministry. We've been in ministry for about the last 14, 15 years. We started our own ministry. We travel all over the United States, and we talk about reconciliation. I came from my time when I was in St. Louis, when I worked for Joyce Meyer at the St. Louis Stream Center. I was there in the middle of Ferguson. I saw all the 11 days of riots. I was keeping peace between the people and the police. That was the first time I saw that the media had an agenda to distract us and divide us. They don't want us talking about the issues. They don't want us talking about what's good for America. And as we've traveled all over, last year we were in 39 different speaking engagements, and we see that most people in America, they want what's best for our country. Most people. I don't care what color you are, I don't care what gender you are, how old you are, how young you are. But the media doesn't want us to believe that. And some politicians don't want us to believe that because they're trying to use race, they're trying to use gender and all these things to distract us and divide us from coming together. And so we talk about reconciliation. We want to reconcile people unto God, ourselves, and each other. And I never saw myself as a politician. As a matter of fact, I'm not. I'm a pastor. I bought into the lie of the separation of church and state. I thought, I'll just do my thing, be a pastor, and I'll save it for the politicians to do what they do. Now, I'm thankful that we live in Missouri. I'm thankful for many of you all that I look around here. I honor you, good politicians who have done your best to keep our freedoms, our rights, our values. I didn't have to get vaccinated. I'm not going to. I went to my doctor and I said, what do I need to do? Because, they tell us stuff like, well, this COVID has affected the black and brown community disproportionately, so you need to get vaccinated. Well, I got informed. I went to my doctor and he told me to start taking vitamin D. I did. I had COVID. I was just fine. There's things like this that they're trying to do to divide us and distract us, and they're trying to stop us from talking about issues, real issues that are affecting us, real people. I'm a common person. I try to use my common sense. I know that it's not good to let anyone come into our country illegally. We're all for legal immigration. Do it the right way. We've helped people come here the right way. But you just can't open up your borders and let anyone come in here. That doesn't make me a racist because I believe that. They can't call me a racist. I'm not down with killing babies like we are. They tell us that 70 to 90 million babies have been aborted. 30 million of those have been in the black and brown community. I choose life. My parents chose life. I choose life. They can't say that I'm misogynistic or racist because I am for not killing babies. I'm for life. I'm not for teaching critical race in the schools. My kids are little mixed kids. I don't want them wondering, am I supposed to be mad at white people, happy at white people? What's going on here? I choose to teach that all people are created by God. And here's the deal. I want to be your representative to go to Washington to speak up for our shared conservative values. I apologize to you for not getting into this race earlier, because I want to be your representative. Many of you guys come up to me and you say, man, I wish you would have gotten in earlier. Maybe next time. Well, this is the time. I am the person. I want to go to Washington and I want to speak for our conservative values. I'm not going to fight with anybody. We've had enough of that. I want to go and speak for our conservative values. I'm going to do it boldly, I'm going to do it strongly, and I'm going to do it consistently. If you want to know more about me, AlexBryantForCongress.com. I would be proud to represent you in Washington. God bless you. Thanks for your time.